Okay, this video is about paths. So you can see how this red circle is going around in a path formation, and then when I press the enter button, he'll go the other direction. And he's on a different path now. Now when I press the shift button, he'll move fast. Alright, so let me show you how I did this. I made two paths here. You just go to the path file and then say create path. In the path 0, I made like a loop pattern. So this is the first path that the red circle's on, and then when I press the enter button, he switches to the second path here. And then if you press the shift button, then he speeds up on the second path. So let me just make a new one up real quick just to show you how to do it. I don't want to mess up the path 0. So create a path. So you just pretty much plot points by clicking on the mouse, and then if you don't like straight line, you can change it to smooth curve, and then you can also drag it out to make your path. And if you didn't want it closed off like this, you could say don't close, so it leaves it open. So what's probably going to happen is you could have the circle stop at this point, or it'll go on this green square and then end up at this blue circle here and stop, or you could have it go from the green square and then go to the blue circle and then go back around to the square and repeat. So you can close it up, and then you could also add more paths or delete a certain path by just clicking on the blue circle and making it red and then saying delete. And then these are all your plotted points where they're going to be located at on the grid. And you can also mess with the path by messing with the X and Y coordinates. The speed, I guess that's how fast it's going to go in the room. And precision, I guess you could change that just to get it more precise. Got to at least have one in there, because GameMaker doesn't like you having nothing in there. It turns red. Alright, so you can rename your path, of course, but I'm not going to use this one. I'm just showing you an example here on this path 2. I'm using my path 0 and path 1. Let me delete path 2. That was just an example to show you. Alright, so then what you do here is do a create on the player circle, and then go to your move tab, and then you have your paths right here. So you drag over a set path, which I did here. Then you choose the path file that you want to use, and I used path 0, so choose your path. Then the speed's going to be at 6 when it starts. Then you have continue from start, or you can do stop, continue from here, or reverse, and then set its relative. So let me see, I'm going to change this continue from start to stop and see what happens. It goes around and stops. See, that's what that does. Alright, and then if I change it to I had it to continue from start. Let me do the... So continue from start, it'll just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Continue from here. That kind of does the same thing as continue from start. Not sure what that really does. That might have more say in the matter if you don't have the path closed. So if I change this to not closed, let me see what happens. It just gets lost. If I change this to continue from start and the path is open, let me see what happens with that. I think it go back and forth. See, it jumps. That's what happens. So the path is open and then it goes around where it starts at, then goes to the end, and then it jumps back to where it was originally. So I'm going to close the path back up because I don't want it to jump. So what's happening here is going around from the green square all the way around to the blue circle, and then it pretty much restarts and he jumps to the green location again. But if you have it closed, then that won't happen. It will just keep going around in a loop and it won't jump. So I'm just going to close that back up, and then if you do the reverse, then it's going to go it should go in the other direction. So instead of going around and around and around again, it should go the opposite direction. Yeah, see, it's going the opposite direction. So it goes around in a circle, then goes the other direction. And then if you don't have this closed, then it shouldn't jump. If you do the reverse, yeah, see, it goes back around from the start again, but it doesn't completely complete the path. Alright, so that's that. Close that back up. Alright, and then I dragged over a path position, set it to 0.2. I think you're pretty much telling where you want the circle to be when you first start the game. So if you change this to like 0.9, then I think it changes it on the path. It puts it someplace else on the path. Let me change this back to continue from start. I'm going to change the speed to 2 just so you can see it slower. I think what it does, it pretty much puts it someplace, it plots it somewhere else on the path, but you can't notice that in the grid. You have to actually play the video or game to see it change its location. So you just got to mess with that to get it where you want it at. I think it plots the circle someplace else, but you can't notice it here. But when you play the video, it's somewhere else. So I believe that's what that does. It changes the location. So if I change this to like 80, I want to see. Oh, you can only go from 0 to 1. So let me do 1. I don't notice a change. Relative, see what happens. I don't really notice something. I don't really notice anything there. Go back to like 0.4. There's a video that I watched to do this path thing. I'll give you the link to that. The guy explains it a little better than I do, but I believe, like I said, this positioning puts it somewhere else when you play the game, but you don't notice it in the grid system here. Alright, so then if you press the enter button, then he's going to change his path. So instead of doing the path 0, he's going to go to path 1. Path 1 is shaped like an octagon. I don't have it set up with smooth curves. It's all octagons here. So once I press the enter button, he's going to change his path. If I do a shift, then he's going to go speed 20. And that is right here, path speed. Press spacebar, it's going to end my path. I believe that's going to stop him from moving. Let me do that demonstration here. I can move. So if I hold down the shift, he speeds up. You let go of the shift button, he slows down. Press spacebar, he just stops for a second. It looks like the path is broken. So if you didn't like the destroy path, because basically what happens is he's just not on the path anymore. You destroy the path. So you could change it back to another path. Change it back to path 0. So and do it at like what? 3 speed. Continue from start, or continue from here. Delete this. So when I press enter, he's going to go to path 1, but then when I press spacebar, he's going to go back to path 0 at a different speed. Yeah, so press enter, he takes the octagon route with path 1, and then if I press spacebar, he takes the smooth curve route. And then you have a shift release and a shift and a release on the spacebar, and then he goes a different route. Path 0, shift, he goes to speed 6. So that's pretty much it on the paths here. I will give you the link to the other video I watched on paths. Like I said, the guy explains it a little more better than I do, but I believe the positioning here is talking about the red circle will be positioned someplace else when you press the run game, but you don't notice it right here when you're messing around with the objects in your room. And let's see, I also have this at origin X25, Y25, so it's in the middle, and then masked it at precise. Alright, I think one demonstration on how you can use paths is either like race cars or something like that, or if you like a bat or something when you want to fly at a zigzag pattern across the room or something, and then repeat. Like he goes across on a path in a zigzag formation, and then he'll go off screen, and then he'll jump back to the start position and do it again until you destroy the bat. And then you want to also destroy the path that he took. Alright, thanks for watching.